Welcome back to full speed racing for the F3 Cup once more on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, but this time the sun has very much dipped behind some ominous looking clouds. This how they line up with Tristan Cliff in pole position. Superb stuff in qualifying from Cliff, from Louis Hamilton-Smith, then Alice Powell, the championship leader, in third, and Henry Chart in fourth from Alex Craven. Well, those heavy clouds burst into life as the engines coughed the cars off onto their green flag formation lap, the rain falling down as the cars set off from the grid. They're all on slick tyres, of course, and therefore the rain plus slick tyres making for incredibly treacherous conditions, the drivers having to tiptoe their way through Paddock Hill Bend. Whereas the formation lap continued, it was abundantly clear that the race could not safely get underway in these conditions. Therefore, quite rightly, the clerk of the course deciding to send out the red flags, enabling all the drivers to head into the pit lane to swap the slick tyres for wet ones. And most of the teams rue the fact they didn't bring an umbrella to the assembly area, some of the drivers getting utterly soaked. Others, like Tristan Cliff, sheltering in the warm and dry. Well, after the frenzied activity in the pit lane was complete, the cars returned to the grid, and very, very slippery conditions, but conditions that are perfect for close and competitive Formula 3 racing. So it's the silver car of Tristan Cliff in pole position, the black and yellow machine of Louis Hamilton-Smith alongside him, and then the white car of Alice Powell next along in third as the revs rise to get ready for the off, and away we go. It's a good start from pole from Tristan Cliff. Louis Hamilton-Smith also well away, so the top three from the grid, really as they were. It's a poor start for Henry Chart, who loses out to Robbie Watts and Alex Craven, and it's Robbie Watts in the blue car who turns through in fourth. Further back, Nick Robinson able to pick his way through, but it's the silver machine of Cliff who leads, then Hamilton-Smith, Alice Powell, Robbie Watts, Alex Craven, the rest of them, Stuart Wiltshire trying to find his way around the outside of number 4, Smart Harrison, the white car, black helmet. Then we've got James Cross, he is under pressure from the vastly experienced Dave Carrascus. Carrascus in the blue and silver machine looking to challenge Cross. Cross though squeezing him towards the grass, not sure that Dave will be overly amused by that as they sprint along the Cooper straight into Surtees. No, in fact he won't, because he also loses out a result to Chris Headlam. Down Pilgrim's Drop for the first time, it's Cliff who leads and trying to pull clear of Louis Hamilton-Smith, then Alice Powell in third, Robbie Watts in fourth, driver who knows Brands Hatch intimately. Everybody else still disputing if there's Mark Harrison can pick up the tread on the tyres. A lot of water being cleared by the cars in these early stages, but already the sun coming back into life. Tristan Cliff though taking advantage of clear road, no spray, trying to move clear as Henry Chart looks to make the challenge on Alex Craven into Surtees. Now between Chris Headlam and Dave Carrascus continues. Carrascus has found his way back past Headlam. He looks to sprint through as on to complete the first lap of the race. Cliff leads it from Hamilton-Smith, and Alice Powell in a super scrap emerging for fourth, but a big spin for James Cross. How he kept out of the barrier, I do not know, and he's fortunate to get the car stopped, not rolling back in front of the oncoming traffic. Jonathan Weston Taylor's able to avoid him, so is Matt Payne, but that may just preempt a safety car, not this stopping the fight for fourth at the moment. Robbie Watts busy defending from Craven and Chart. They're almost three wide coming out of Druids as James Cross looks to get the car recovered. Indeed he does, so he gets back underway, so the race able to continue as Cliff looks to pull clear of Hamilton-Smith and Powell. Now that's interesting, Robbie Watts already moving offline down Pilgrim's Drop, trying to call the tread pattern on those wet tyres, suggests that it's very warm, which it is, still in the midst of summer, but also the track is drying fairly rapidly. Tristan Cliff though gambling on getting the very best out of his tyres in these early stages, trying to put a decisive advantage of Hamilton-Smith and Powell. Robbie Watts and Henry Chart go wheel to wheel into Stirling, but Watts finds the traction the outside line, no way through then for Henry Chart. Alex Craven just slipping back from that group as they head into Clark Curve on to complete another lap. Now what can the white car of Chart do here about getting the slipstream behind Robbie Watts? And Watts just stuttered through Clark Curve, a little bit slower onto Ram straight than he'd like to be. So Chart looking to the outside line, but no, we've got waved yellow flags and the safety car has come out. Now why have we got a safety car? It's not for James Cross, he recovered. So everybody slows down, and those gaps that were just opening out all close up on each other once more. It's been really a race of fits and starts, this. Yes, we've got, that's why we've got the safety car out. Nick Robinson, nil, tyre barrier 1, and unfortunately it's his car that's come off worst of all. So Robinson's race very brief, recovery work complete, and we're back underway with Tristan Cliff trying to pull the pin and go early here, ahead of Hamilton Smith and Alice Powell. Then the fight for fourth, still between Watts and Henry Sharp. The rest of the field all sprinting across the line in good time. This performance all the remarkable for Tristan Cliff because he broke his back actually in the last round at Zolder with an over-exuberant ride across the curbs, cracked a vertebrae, had to be taken from the car directly to hospital at the end of the race in Zolder. Of course, Tristan completed the race because that's the way he is, scored points, but has really bounced back in emphatic fashion as Robbie Watts gets it all wrong, and Henry Sharp spins an avoidance at Graham Hill Bend. Watts will continue to lose the place to Alex Craven. Henry Sharp needs to find first gear and forward propulsion fairly quickly. Oh, I think he's lost the engine there as Tristan Cliff comes under pressure from Louis Hamilton Smith in the head of the race. Hamilton Smith, whose day job is as an engineer for the Red Bull Racing Formula 1 team, so he knows a thing or two about car preparation. But he's now got to worry about Alice Powell trying to squeeze through. Three of them, as you can see, a long way clear of the rest of the field. There's Jonathan Weston Taylor. He is just clear of Tony Bishop. And the wet weather, always something of a leveller. Tristan Cliff, though, able to withstand the challenge from Hamilton Smith for the time being. Former GP3 racer then, Alice Powell in third. Somewhat frustrated in third. She's got the inherent pace to try and move up through the order, but overtaking Formula 3 cars is not the work for a moment, though it does become a little bit easier in the wet weather. And also there is merit, you would say, to Powell playing the long game here, because you can already see the beginnings of a dry line. We've still got the best part of half the race to go, and therefore she's prepared to be patient and let the track conditions come to her, and she could find rich pickings later in the race. Though that said, she's trying to find a way past Hamilton Smith up Held Hill into Druids. Louis Hamilton Smith though moves across, covers the inside line, no way through then as a result for Alice Powell. They come out of Druids down towards the left-hander Graham Hill Bend, ride over the curbs, sprint along the Cooper Straight on towards Surtees. There's Dave Karaskas, who still leads the trophy class, which is for the pre-2002 cars. Leading that at the moment from Jonathan Weston Taylor and James Lederman as the leading trio. This is really where the battle is. Hamilton Smith in pursuit of Cliff, out of Hawthorne on towards Westfield, with Alice Powell swarming in pursuit, trying to pick her way through as best she can. As they come out of Sheen into Stirling's, and this is a lovely battle coming together, really what we've had all season long in the F3 Cup. Again, Tristan Cliff though finding a wet patch, trying to cool down those tyres through clearways, and then Clark Curve. Got to be so careful when you get on the throttle, light up the rear tyres, sprint along the Brabham Straight, and Tristan Cliff leads across the line. Another lap reeled off from Cliff. He'll just be wanting that race clock to tick downwards ever more. Climbing out of Paddock Hill Bend up Halewood Hill, and it's now the turn of Hamilton Smith to start challenging Tristan Cliff. All the while though, Alice Powell sitting on their tail, just waiting for her moment to challenge, and it might be as Hamilton Smith tries to challenge Tristan Cliff to lead the race. They'll slow themselves down. That is Alice Powell's moment to pounce. There's Alex Craven with Robbie Watts in pursuit. Then Mark Harrison, who's losing out to Stuart Wiltshire, so Wiltshire finding his way past Mark Harrison. That the move for 6th and 7th. Then 8th place Dave Karaskas. It's Jonathan Weston Taylor just clear of Neil Harrison. A pair of them circulating a little bit lower down the field. There's Mark Harrison in pursuit of Stuart Wiltshire. And part of the problem these drivers have got is that because we've now got that solitary dry line that's emerging, if you go offline to try and overtake, suddenly all the available traction rather disappears. It's James Lederman running towards the back of the field. Lederman on course for a trophy class podium if things stay as they are, as plunging down Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorne comes the Stuart Wiltshire, Mark Harrison and Dave Karaskas battle, and Karaskas has got to have one eye surely on trophy class victory, another eye as well on gaining as many places as he possibly can in the race, as accelerating out of Clark Curve once more come the leading trio there, as they were. So it's Tristan Cliff from the yellow and black car of Lewis Hamilton Smith. Then it's Alice Powell. They sprint along the Brown Straight, reel off another lap into the latter stages of the race now. And Cliff, as yet, really unchallenged in the lead, but we have got a very, very rapidly drying circuit here, and it's going to come down to who has used up their tyres the most. And almost you could see from that shot that it's Alice Powell who's got her tyres in the best condition as they turned into Druids. Now, is that going to be an advantage as we move into the later stages of the race? Fight for fourth and fifth heads up into Druids. No change, it's still Craven from Watts. Then Mark Harrison from a rapidly recovering James Cross. So James Cross doing a good job trying to move clear of David Graskus, and indeed he does just that. So that is 8th place in favour of James Cross. After that big spin earlier on, he really has got his head down and begun to improve up through the field. But is that a waved red flag we can see into Surtees? Indeed it is. So the race being brought to a halt. We're well over 70% race distance, so I suspect we're going to have a result as well. Real shame and somewhat anticlimactic in the end, because that was just shaping up to be a real dash to the flag. So here's the final classification. Victory for Tristan Cliff from Lewis Hamilton Smith. Alice Powell completes the podium. Trophy class honours for Dave Graskus, and James Cross loses out on that place because of the countback. Well, in terms of championship standing, it's Alice Powell who still leads the way and builds her advantage over Alex Craven, with Tristan Cliff closing rapidly in third. Dave Graskus in fourth. So as the drivers celebrate on the Brands Hatch podium, that's it for this week's Full Speed Racing. Join us same time next week for more action.